Betsy Kling.
Through the evening and go outside. 66 flooding conditions across. See that band is I'm Betsy Kling. Weather's my game. And
I'm excited.
That's 2 decades. That's a long time. I've grown up here as an adult, I guess. I've had a lot of life changes in 20 years, but I've also just loved every minute of it. As for clouds, well, we got some partly cloudy skies out there. The plan was to try and get back home. My family was here. This is where I grew up, and I love this area. Called down to the GM's office. And there's an opening in Cleveland. They want to know if you're interested in it. And I was like, when do I start?
Right, we're going to do that again.
Just because you land that dream job, or you finally feel like you're in a place where you can stay for a long time, that doesn't mean you let your foot off the accelerator. I was a very, very tiny fish in a very big tank, and slowly but surely started to feel more and more comfortable and grow a little bit.
The winds are whipping in downtown Cleveland, and we are literally turning this town pink.
So I've helped with a lot of major events that have been in downtown, with all-star games, triathlons, you name it, air shows. I've been down to, Cape Canaveral several times following along with the Artemis mission.
And behind me is the top of the rocket.
Tons of pinch me moments.
And we've got a special guest.
One of the big ones was getting to do the weather with Al Roker. This was just a couple years ago, and he actually stepped aside and let me do the forecast, which was
BAM!
Like, I got done and I was just like, I still get emotional about that. It's a big deal. 71 to 61, today's temperature range. Sitting at home in the afternoon, and it was the news director who said, we're shifting things around. We're gonna move you to weeknights. You're not the chief, but we're gonna move you to weeknights. I knew I had an opportunity there that I didn't want to screw up too much. 3 days later, I found out I was pregnant. So, it was one of those moments, like I was very excited, overwhelmed really, and scared, but people were very sweet about it. And I still have all of the emails and the cards and the gifts. I do this thing where I work on Christmas Day. So she was born at the end of July, so I had this little mush. So I brought her to work with me, and she came on the air with me, and people really responded. And so every year my daughter Josie's been doing the weather with me on Christmas, and then
there was like a big box.
7 years later, little Violet appeared. We made it a little bit of a family ordeal, and now they both help me with the forecast.
And it's gonna come all the way over here.
So being named the first female chief meteorologist in Cleveland was huge. I still remember going back to record my radio hits the first day, and I got to sign out with Chief Meteorologist Betsy Kling. And when I walked out of the audio booth, I was like, oh my gosh, it's real now. I get to say I'm the chief. It was very exciting. And then the work began, and I was in charge of a department now, and I am always wowed by the talent that I see with my teammates. So what do we know so far? I've worked with some pretty significant names in television business, specifically here in Cleveland. And then there's Jay Crawford. The camaraderie that I just felt immediately with him just grows every single day. I just love sitting next to him and chatting with him.
This is my mom, Sue Kling, also known as Big Sue.
My parents just cracked me up, and I don't want to get emotional, but they really set me up. And in a good way, not in a bad way. I just hope I make them proud. I know I do. They tell me that, at least.
Betsy's my name, and weather's my game. And these girls, they're in my crew.
I never saw myself as a role model, quite honestly. I just showed up to work and did my job, and I had a job to do, and that was that. The role model part really became more evident to me when the Girls in STEM series started. And I was like, wow, they do watch. They are paying attention. When your job is just simply to be a messenger, and suddenly you have a personal connection with people, I think that's a pretty big deal. I'm really grateful that people let me in, and people turn to me as not only their meteorologist and a news anchor, but they turn to me as their friend and their family member. There's nothing better than that.